And there's Max Verstappen right behind Hamilton into the first chicane. Once again, it's wheel to wheel. Hamilton and Verstappen, and this time Verstappen and Hamilton have crashed out, and they are both out. As Hamilton came from his pit stop, rejoined the racetrack, Lando Norris was ahead, and in their desperation to stay ahead and to get ahead, the two championship protagonists have taken each other out of the Italian Grand Prix. Did Verstappen have enough space in the initial part of that chicane, and then did he try and get a bit cheeky in the second part?
And Max hasn't done anything wrong there. Max's car hit the rollover hoop of Lewis's car. That's where the damage has come from, and that was a scary moment.
Even
there.
with the halo, Martin, look at the rear right tyre of Max Verstappen's Red Bull rubbing against the crash helmet of Lewis Hamilton by the looks of it, and Hamilton certainly trying to get as low in his cockpit as he possibly could.
Wow.
These are critical corners for this Grand Prix.
Hamilton's going to try again, this time on the inside, a continent touch! Verstappen is out of the race, and that's a big crash into Copse! Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen coming together. Hamilton continues on. Charles Leclerc now leads the British Grand Prix, but for the second time this season, Hamilton and Verstappen clash and tangle on the opening lap, but this time it is ending in dramatic consequences.
Max goes to cover the inside. He thinks he's got the inside covered, and then turns in. Wouldn't have really have known where Lewis was exactly at 180 miles an hour.
How was the head going in there, man?
And Hamilton goes into the first corner as Bottas locks up, almost hits Verstappen, who goes off the track, and then forces Hamilton wide as Esteban Ocon gets ahead of Lewis Hamilton and goes into second place, and that's Sergio Perez, who's been tagged, and there's another incident involving George Russell. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get a second safety car, because that was chaos at the start. And does he get tagged from behind? Yes, he does.
Yeah, 3 into 2 doesn't go. Critical for the Constructors' Championship as well.
Very much so. Oh, no. It is Hamilton ahead of Verstappen. Bottas has dropped 3 or 4 places. And there's Lando Norris touched. And into each other goes Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. And that's the Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri getting caught up as the McLaren spun round with the Ferrari as well. On board now with Valtteri Bottas. And he made contact with both Red Bulls there.
Bottas took out both Red Bull cars.
Oh, just arriving far too quickly into the scene. Going to get a safety car now, because that's Valtteri Bottas and George Russell, who are out of this race, and they look like they've had a big coming together as well.
But on the face of it, it looks like a mistake, and that 32, Mercedes lose 3 of their drivers, don't they? But, well, Hamilton will recover.
On board with George Russell, who hits Bottas. Yes, because he gets onto the grass. It can go right down to the checkered flag, and look at and that's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen on the main straight, leading this race, now out of this race. We saw Valtteri Bottas back in 2018 lose the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with a tyre failure. History's repeated itself in 2021, and this year it's Verstappen.
It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, Crofty.
Pirelli have gone one step softer with the tyre compounds for this year's race. Have they gone too soft?
A little bit higher pressure opens the grooves. Did that go round? Did the McLaren go round?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That's Lando Norris. A Rouge and up to a Radeon. Lando Norris. And there is Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, just making sure that he's okay. First driver on the scene. He too was worried about the conditions. Lando is moving.
Yeah, oh, I see it. Just started to wander into an oversteer, and he had to correct it. And it was the correction that actually took him into the barriers. Well, it was one driver's opinion, but what it did, it just sort of moved into a bit of an oversteer. And as he corrected it, suddenly the front tyre bit.
Perez pulls to the inside, Verstappen to the outside. They're 3 abreast at the moment, and there's 3 abreast behind them. Into turn 1 we go. Verstappen is into the lead, ahead of Hamilton. Bottas AlphaTauri as well.
This is a nightmare start for
And
Mercedes.
there's more contacts. There's Daniel Ricciardo getting hit, I think, by George Russell.
No front wing there on the McLaren of Ricciardo either.
And we have a safety car here, and there is Yuki Tsunoda, as I said, got hit and got caught up in the carnage going on down at turn 2. Schumacher is also out of this race.
So let's give the position back to Hamilton. Obviously, do that strategically.
Oh, they've touched
Give the
and they've
position back.
collided! Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. How much damage on Hamilton's Mercedes? What has happened there? Verstappen being told to give the place back to Lewis Hamilton. Slowed down on the straight. Hamilton ran into the back of the Red Bull. Just what is going on here in Jeddah tonight?